Guys, I have an incredibly diverse like Facebook profile, along with like For You pages and like, you know, the main pages on Instagram. So like I see a lot of people with a lot of varying different, you know, viewpoints, specifically on ideologies at least, guys. And I can tell you this right now. That first incident that happened in Pennsylvania with Trump, I saw a lot of people saying a lot of craziness, like things that I would have never thought someone would wish on like another human. Like, you can disagree with someone. Like a long time ago, listen, I'm going to say probably 2 decades ago, people were married, okay, and had different political ideologies. Did you guys remember that time, or am I just crazy? Okay, like there were family members that would meet for like, I don't know, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they'd be able to talk with varying viewpoints. But now, for some reason, we're in a time where every single person has to basically be kind of a sheep. Like, if you want, like, and I mean that in the most disrespectful manner you can believe. Everyone has to be like in a line, right? Like, there could be no more, you know, secondary thoughts on things. And so when I see things on my social media, at least recently, it's like, guys, why are you wishing that somebody's life got ended, right? Like, this should be like a rallying cry to come together kind of as a country to kind of get away and get out, let's say, the people that want to stop progress by any means. But that's not the case, bro. But let's go ahead and check this out immediately. The reason why I'm kind of bringing all this stuff up is I read this title here, and I'm just like, did Hillary Clinton say something crazy about Trump? That's wild, okay? That's a wild one if that's the case. But we're going to go ahead and check this out immediately. This is a suggestion via Discord, guys. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Former President Trump is speaking out about the second attempt on his life in just 9 weeks. During an interview on X, he recalled the moment when bullets started flying.
So I was playing golf with some of my friends. It was on a Sunday morning, and very peaceful, very beautiful weather. Everything was beautiful. It was a nice place to be. And all of a sudden we heard shots being fired in the air, and I guess probably 4 or 5. And it sounded like bullets, but what do I know about that? But Secret Service knew immediately it was bullets. And they grabbed me. He didn't exactly hit the target the way he wanted. There's something going on. I mean, perhaps it's God wanting me to be president to save this country.
To be honest, what's going on is that a lot of people don't like you. And a lot of people in other countries also at the same time just do not like you. And these individuals like detest you so much, they really just want to stop whatever you're saying, right? And I think that's probably one of the weakest things you can possibly do. You should always want to hear, again, varying viewpoints. I think that's what made our country so amazing in the beginning, let's say, guys, right? But yeah, that's what's going on. Iran and a lot of other people who just do not like you, strongly detest you.
Trump is pointing the finger at Democrats over their incendiary rhetoric.
Let's hear it.
You know, this was the second attempt in your life in under 2 months. What do you make of that?
Well, there's a lot of rhetoric going on. Right. A lot of people think that the Democrats, when they talk about threat to democracy and all of this. And it seems that both of these people were radical lefts.
However, the liberal media says Trump, the victim's rhetoric, is actually the problem.
Okay.
The actual violence we're seeing comes much more disproportionately from MAGA themselves.
The former president certainly could do a lot to make himself safer, to make it less likely that people would become radicalized to this point. After the first assassination attempt, Donald Trump said he was going to adopt a different tone.
If Donald Trump wants Kamala Harris and others to stop saying that he is a threat to democracy, then he should stop threatening democracy.
In terms of rhetoric, do you think Donald Trump, in the Trump campaign, do you think they have a problem with rhetoric as well?
No, and I don't. I think especially in light of the fact that there has now been a second assassination attempt on the life of President Trump, I do not believe so. What we are seeing now is that you do have radical elements of the Democrat Party.
Guys, what? Oh, like imagine just be like, guys, just break it down to the human level here for a second. imagine two different people in two different states randomly, okay, at random, it seems, attempt to end your life. And then a third, obviously, the guy the guy that was from Pakistan that was basically sent by Iran, right? So just keep this in mind. Like, think about that, just from the human level. You go outside. And most people will never have to actually, most people will never honestly deal with this, right? But imagine what the internal strife that that Trump specifically is going through, as bullets for some reason keep flying in his direction, guys. That's crazy.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton shockingly argue that the media isn't doing enough to paint Trump as the threat.
Okay.
I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. The late, great journalist Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump, his demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it.
So, Brian, Hillary wants us to talk about how dangerous Trump is when she is the one being dangerous at a time when Politico, this quote stuck out to me, the 2024 presidential election is taking place at a time when the U.S. is facing the most complex, dynamic, dangerous threat environment I've experienced in the 40-plus years I've been working in law enforcement. That's a former senior Homeland Security, Intelligence, and Counterterrorism official. And she had the audacity to go on primetime television last night and call Trump a danger.
Well, she's deranged since 2016. I mean, there's no question about it. She still thinks that the Russians gave him the election, although she paid for the dossier that launched that 2.5-year lark that you had to be a part of, and that the whole country was distracted from. And 2.5 years, Trump had to verify that he was actually the president of the United States. We, as a country, we now acknowledge he won in 2016. She is still not over it. But the one thing that I am astounded by is I'm looking at Peter Baker, who wrote a good book about George Bush. He could be fair at times. He is actually, him and Lester Holt have named the assassination and then blamed Trump. They cite the assassination and then blame Trump for it. They don't see anything on the other side that leads to this. Democracy is over. Our last election, this is Hitler. He wants to be a dictator. Those are the things that incite this type of anger, and that's the rhetoric. But how do you blame Trump for that? It's incredible to me. And on the next day.
Yeah, bro, you can't blame someone for getting shot at. I'm just going to be honest here, bro. That's not the thing. Now, listen, we can talk about what led up to it, sure, but that has nothing to do with the fact that bullets were flying by his head, bro. All right, that's like, you can talk all you want, right? But the difference is action, okay? And the action of what happened was Trump had bullets flying past him, okay? And that's just the reality, guys, right? I don't care about anything else other than the fact that they keep trying to take this man's life.
Speaking of some of that language that analogizes Trump to Hitler, I think our viewers need to re-see this. This was pre-assassination attempt. Watch McCaskill, watch Goldman.
It is just unquestionable at this point that that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
A lot of people have tried to draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler, and the use of the terminology like vermin, and the drive that those men had towards autocracy and dictatorship. The difference, though, I think makes Donald Trump even more dangerous, and that is he has no philosophy he believes in.
So it was McCaskill there that compared Trump, or said he's worse than Mussolini and Hitler. That's what I heard. And Kaylee, the Trump campaign compiled all of the rhetoric that has been very dangerous, very targeting of Trump. We will scroll it as you react.
Yeah, this is even a remarkable shift from the left versus the first assassination attempt, when they made at least a half-hearted attempt to sort of couch their rhetoric. Now they're just doubling down on it, and they don't even care who sees it.
No, a lot of the statements that are being made were made before the first.
And I was thinking about why that is. Why?
But yeah, are they still talking crazy? Oh yeah, they're talking crazy, bro. Right? That's a fact. But a lot of what you're showing me right now are statements that were made like way before, and you're also mixing in things from 2016, 2017.
Why are they now refusing to apologize for the environment that they've contributed to? And I think back to my own feelings after the first assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. I've said here before, you know, I went from being a Trump critic in 2016 to a sort of reluctant Trump voter in 2020. And after the first assassination attempt, I remember any doubt in my mind that I was not going to vote for Trump in November being completely removed. I was actually excited to vote for him. And
yeah, that's what I said. I said, like, listen, yeah, it's a terrible incident, absolutely. But what this is going to do is like bring completely together the people that were most likely center right at that time.
After I said that, I had so many people reach out to me and say that they felt the exact same way. And that moment was so critical, I believe, because for the first time really in politics since Donald Trump entered the scene, people were rethinking what they knew about the former president. They were rethinking what they had been told about the former president, including that he was a fascist, that he was a threat to democracy. And that changed the way that they perceived him. That is what the left is scared of. The assassination attempts destroy the left's narratives about Donald Trump. And that is why they're refusing to change course now, because that is what they're scared of more than Donald Trump being shot and killed.
And I think people forget Donald Trump's a person. I saw Don Jr. saying, how many times do I have 5 conversations with my 5 children that their grandfather was almost killed? And here I had to have it 5 more times.
Yeah, I want to.
That's exactly what I keep trying to reiterate here, guys. The important part of what this is that there's a human out there that is hated so much by some individuals, guys, that people are trying to end his life publicly, guys. Like, they know that he has all this security around him, and they're just like, man, I don't care. I'm still going to take my chances, right? That's the part that disturbs me more than any of the other things, guys. It disturbs me that there is someone out there that is like literally suffering the mental anguish of that. I mean, Trump can act like this is nothing, like this is fine, but it is not at all fine. And I think he knows, he's fully aware of that, guys, right?
I'm going to go back to something that Kayleigh just said, because she's absolutely right. It's reputational harm that they are worried about. So Daniel Goldman, the New York congressman that you saw, who said that President Trump should be eliminated, he said that in late 2023. Not soon after that, he had to apologize. And he didn't say what we all might think. He didn't replace the word right away and say, oh, I meant this E word, not eliminated. He just said he misspoke, he used the wrong word. I want to know what replaces eliminated in that sentence. Like, I put some effort into it. In fact, we'll wait. It's been almost a year. I'm still waiting to hear it.
He probably meant eradicated, which is kind of the same thing.
But it is that reputational accountability that happens almost immediately for anybody who calls for the death of somebody else if we live in a civil society. And I'm guessing that Democrats must feel that. They must be feeling it now. But they've thrown that care about it out the window. And so my question is, what really are the stakes for Democrats? It's not about democracy. We saw what they did at the top of their ticket and put Kamala Harris over Joe Biden after one debate. They didn't even move the needle in the political polls that came out. So I'm waiting to hear and to learn, what is it about this moment that makes them particularly bloodthirsty as they speak about this president?
Emily.
Guys, the president of the United States said to put Donald Trump in a bullseye. Period. End of statement.
There you go.
And then we have the former Secretary of State saying, calling to action the media to amplify that. End of story.
Yeah, exactly. There's rhetoric that's normal in political discourse. We will fight. We're going to win. And then there is, you are a threat to the entire American political system, which is what the left has said repeatedly.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily.
All right, guys. We just need to listen. I'm going to say the forbidden phrase here, right? We just all need to get along, guys. We need to. All right. I don't like any of this stuff, guys. And specifically for like Democrats to say these things, right? Specifically when it comes to like blaming victims, that's the weirdest thing in the world because, to my knowledge, victims can under no circumstance be held accountable for any action that brought them to that point, based off of a lot of issues at like college campuses where guys end up being accused of something that they never actually did, and then getting let off, and then the person who claimed they did something, nothing ever happens to them, right? So like you tell us to believe all these things, but yet You say these things? That's the weirdest thing. Like, it almost sounds like you just say things to get people to kind of follow your cause. You don't mean any of it. That's what it sounds like to me, at least. You know, listen, I'm an outsider looking in. Okay, it just sounds like trash to me, bro. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.